Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Atlanta Sports Special with your hosts, Kenny and Kramer. On today's episode, we will be talking about the humiliating and disgusting game that was Week 3 against the Carolina Panthers, as well as touch up on a little bit of what's going around in other Atlanta sports. Again, we appreciate you guys listening, and let's get it!
Yeah! ATL on the rise, you know how we do. Beach tree dreams, dirty birds flying through. From the gridiron to the diamond, courts to the pitch. We reppin' ATL sports, every team, every niche. ATL, where the flames ignite. From Truist Park to the bins at night. Dreams take flight, hearts soar high. United we stand, reaching for the sky.
All right, Kramer, before we get into all the doom and gloom, I got something exciting about this day in the A. You ready to hear about it?
Yeah.
So this exact day in 1987, a man by the name of Albert Hall for the Braves stepped up on the diamond and hit himself a cycle. Why is that special? Because it marked 77 years since a Brave had hit for the cycle at that point. So I wasn't alive then. I think most of the 20 people who listened to us weren't alive then. But I can tell you this. It was an exciting time in the A, and it's actually interesting. I was looking at how many Braves have hit for the cycle when this came up. There's been 9 total cycles hit. And this is actually going to lead perfectly into the great depressing episode we're about to release for y'all. Do you know when the last 2 cycles were?
1921, when we were the Boston Bean Eaters.
No. It was in 2021 when we won the ship. And one of them was hit by Freddie.
Great segue into depressing talk. Wow.
Well, listen, today's not going to be fun by any means. It's not a cheerful episode. There's a lot of negativity in Atlanta right now. It does feel like we have a big cloud hanging over the city and the sports teams based on what we have to talk about, whether it be Falcons dropping an egg in Charlotte or Trae Young beefing with a 7th, player on 7 teams, Pat Beverly, or the Dream, who, Kramer, you'll be happy to hear I was actually keeping up with now, falling on their face and exiting the first round. There's a lot to get into. Initial reactions to what you watched Sunday. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the biggest idiot ever.
We both are.
I don't know if I'm the biggest idiot for my last week's score prediction of just thinking the Falcons were going to win this game and by a safe amount, or I don't know if I'm just an idiot and a dumb stupid head for ever believing in the Falcons in the first place, or just having a shimmer of hope after year after year after year. It is one thing to lose to the Panthers, sure. If we lose to the Panthers on a blown call or, something to the matter of we fumble at the end of the game and they win by 3, I will still be very upset and have what I have to say about that. But when we get absolutely blown out is so heartbreaking, and it just took the life out of me. The light no longer shines behind my eyes, and it is week 3.
This does seem like it was kind of a pivotal game early in the season because it's one that the Falcons should pick up a dub in. We are a Falcons fan podcast. We are not deep sports analysts, so it's important to recognize our flaws. I listened back to our last week's episode and heard all the excitement and me talking about trying to score 24 points in the first half. And I feel sick to my stomach that I was so excited going into Sunday, and this is what happened.
We talked a lot about belt to ass, and
there was belt to ass.
Yeah, but, I didn't expect us to be the one with our pants down.
Yeah, getting beat like a tom-tom. I mean, it was, it's brutal. And I'll tell you this, let's start from the very beginning. The team came on the field looking lackluster. Everyone on every phase of the ball looked like this was a peewee scrimmage that they showed up to, shirts untucked. They forgot a glove. Dad's going back to get their cleats type of situation. No one looked locked in. And maybe that's because they thought they were playing the Panthers too. All I know is this comes down to coaching had these boys unprepared to go play.
What was the point of this? I mean, they showed up, like you said, unprepared. They thought they were going to be getting a bad team. It looked like they didn't practice all week. They were eating Takis, streaming God knows what on freaking Twitch. That's all these guys do is play video games now in the league. And now they treated this looked like me playing my little brother in 2012 in Madden 20.
Yeah, when your brother was what, 8?
I think he was 6, something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what the outcome would look like. It was disgusting. We'll talk about the offense first. I actually look, the defense, if you break it down statistically, did not play that bad of a game. The Panthers had short fields.
You're going to have to convince me later.
We'll talk about that. Let's stick to the part that's a very obvious problem, which is just this ineptitude from our offensive scheme.
Yeah. Let's just start real quick with what everybody on the internet is saying. When you are rooting for a team that has a loss like this, it is the worst thing to do is go straight online and just see what everybody who isn't a fan of your team is saying. They love to throw out just facts and stats that will break your heart even more. Let me give you this one, Kenny. Michael Penix, 2-4 in his career, has never won a game where a team scores more than 7 points.
Yeah, I do have a counterpoint to that because on paper, that sounds terrible, right? 2 of those games were overtime losses that he lost that came from touchdowns by the other team when he never even got to touch the ball. So think of it that way. That's more of a defensive loss. One of those is to the Panthers, who Bryce Young, here's another statistic I heard. Bryce Young and all of his ineffectiveness, right? Terrible winning percentage. Guy looks like he has a noodle for an arm. He's 3-1 against the Falcons.
That is just so discouraging. That actually just broke my
very
heart.
Discouraging. And it's almost embarrassing to say this because they're so bad offensively. I mean, statistically, like in the top 5 worst offenses in the league the past couple of years, the Panthers schemed Falcons so well. They knew we were going to have a pass rush, and we had a blitz rate of over 60%. We were blitzing on at least 2 of 3 downs every time we had the ball. The ball was coming out extremely fast from Bryce Young. I mean, he looked like they were running, I mentioned it on our last pod, but like that Peyton Manning Broncos offense, like where he had to throw the ball within 2 seconds because he didn't have the arm, but also because they knew if he got touched, he'd explode. He was so old. That's what it looks like they were doing, and they did it extremely effectively. The pass rush didn't even have time to get there.
Their offensive line looked so much better than I think any analyst could have ever predicted with the amount of injuries that's on their offensive line in the first place. The fact that they just stopped a very hot Atlanta defensive line that was ripping J.J. McCarthy apart not even a week ago is kind of insane. You know what? Like, you got to give a firm handshake to that because they showed up and they prepared. They actually watched tape, it looked like, compared to our team.
Yeah, and I think we're already getting into defense. I'll move it back to offense here. And I've been calling for Zach Robinson's head for a little while now. Even through 3 games, 0 touchdowns for our wide receivers or tight ends. We have not scored a passing touchdown. We're going to get into some of these numbers. I'm telling you, it's like it feels like a burden, like a weight is on my shoulders talking about this. But
yeah, well, you know what? Shout out Raheem Morris for finally telling reporters that Zach Robinson, Falcons offensive coordinator, will now be moving from the coaching box to the actual field. Dude, this man actually was so bad at his job these past 3 weeks that his boss had to tell him to go touch some grass and see the freaking field.
Yeah, he's like, hey, it's time to quit working from home. We're going back in the office. You have to actually like come here and do your job. And a part of that is like, I've been hearing people talk about this for weeks. It's like you have a very young, inexperienced quarterback in Michael Penix who has a ton of raw talent. I'm still high on Penix. I think his ceiling is very high. I'm not going to get onto a guy who's played 6 games in the NFL and be like, oh, you had your worst game ever. You must be terrible. That's horrible fandom. I'm not going to do that.
And the NFL is so quick to jump from quarterback to quarterback after somebody has been bad. And you see people like Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones having absolute revivals of careers right now, just being able to go to different teams and win. So obviously we're big Penix riders. Pause. But we're clearly riding for our guys still. And honestly, I can't even give him any blame because it's not something we can even blame. It's the coaches around him right now not giving him enough support and the things that he needs. I mean, we're over here with play calls off on time. We are using timeouts inefficiently. I mean, we're just not doing the things we need to do to even give this technically a rookie a chance.
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to that. It's a double coaching problem, right? It's not just Zach Robinson, who has been abysmal. It's Raheem Morris. I mean, that's your job as a head coach. Like, more than anything is to effectively use timeouts and work clock management in game situations. I know he's not calling plays. I know he's not interfering with that. On defense, he's not doing anything either. The guy chews bubblegum on the sideline more than he coaches, based on what I see every time the camera goes up to him. That little microphone straight in the air, and he's not doing anything. It's like, buddy, then you can't be wasting our timeouts and letting this ineffective play calling on 3rd and 1 become a delay of game after a timeout.
I said this last week. It is just so infuriating seeing our offense go out there, do something completely abysmal, go 3 and out, and they just pan to Raheem Morris, and he's just got like a smirk, like a smolder on his face, like, well, I guess that didn't work.
Yeah,
whoops. What are we talking about?
Sorry about that.
Wish I had enough energy to get fired up and angry right now, but we're recording in the morning and I'm sad.
Yeah, I was about to say, my coffee's still settling in. Yeah, man. I mean, so let's talk about the stuff that is Penix's fault as a young quarterback again. There were missed routes. So when Zach Robinson did finally scheme something across the middle of the field, there were 2 plays specifically where Kyle Pitts was, and I'm talking open, no one within 15 yards of him downfield. Here's where that becomes a problem, is those were schemed up at a time where Michael had already taken 4 hits in the pocket. He looked scrambled. And if you go watch the play, the route really developed right as pressure was getting to Penix. So, I mean, he'd have to see it very early. We're still talking about a young quarterback with decision-making skills that are going to develop. He'll go watch this film, and he'll see that and be looking for it. The problem is the Commanders are going to go watch that film and see Kyle Pitts wide open too, so he can't just watch film and say, hi, I'm just going to throw it to Penix. He was staring down Jake London on almost every play. That's the other thing. He seems to not be going through his progressions very well. He seems to be looking at his first target, and then, those eyes drew obviously a pick 6 and another interception as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that Michael Penix probably could have done better. But again, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt of just being a young quarterback. But when we're running, the same couple plays of just pitch, screen, pass, and it would always have to be a deep pass because we're either getting sacked or we're doing an incompletion from 2nd and 10. So that being said, it's like, what do you expect him to do? He can't just throw for 3rd and long every time and you expect him to complete it.
Yeah, no playbook is set up to be going 3rd and 15 because of 2 crappy play calls and a penalty. You're never going to win a game that way, and that's alignment and assignment. That's coaching, and it's been bad in all 3 games so far this year, and it was bad last year. And at some point, I mean, look, I get that we took the head off our wide receiver coach this week. I think that was a stall game by Zach and Raheem to not have to not have to be held accountable to them individually.
Yeah. And listen, I don't hate the scheme of if we're just going to start doing checkdowns to Kyle Pitts. I mean, okay, we can just check down each side of the field. Bijan on one side, Kyle Pitts on the other. And if that's what's going to actually get us into the red zone, because fun fact for you here, Kenny, we didn't sniff the red zone. We didn't get past the 30-yard line.
We didn't get past the orange zone, if you will, or the yellow zone.
Which is freaking ridiculous. But you also want to talk about Drake London getting, looks every time on those 3rd and longs. Let me talk to you about Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
Man, I was yelling at my TV anytime I saw the ball go to him. That man had 11 targets, 11 freaking targets. 4 catches, 44 receiving yards. He had some of the biggest crucial drops during the game of those 3rd and long plays. And he missed every important opportunity that he got. If he is still injured, then okay, fine. Keep him off the field instead of him being some sort of liability. Ray McLeod can go ahead and take that position and he will make something out of it. We're not short on wide receivers that can just catch a ball for being the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. That's fine. But if we're going to sit here and keep giving Darnell Mooney opportunities and him go 4 and 11 for 44,
no, you're exactly right. And some of those too are Penix threw a ball on a dot and it looks like Darnell Mooney slowed down his routes, stopped running them, made the wrong read. And Zach Robinson, again, is another coaching problem. You have a young quarterback who's having to work with wide receivers who are given option routes on almost every single route tree they run, and nobody's running to the right spot. I mean, there were times Michael Penix was throwing the ball 20 yards away from where Darnell Mooney was breaking to. And it's like, okay, we're game 3. You guys have been practicing together for this year, at least 2 months now. And you guys still don't know how to work together against a defense and read the correct break. I get it 1 or 2 times a game. That happens. You'll see guys like Patrick Mahomes throw a go route when someone makes a comeback and it hits the ground, 20 yards downfield. That's fine. I get it. That happens. Go communicate it and fix it. We're not communicating and fixing it. It's just coming back out and doing the same thing. Our punter is the most effective tool that we have on this team. Our best offensive drive happened when we punted. They muffed it. We got the ball back on the 35. What did we do with it? 2 penalties, 3 and out, missed field goal.
Oh yeah, let's get into what I'd like to call justice for young Wei Koo. Hand up. No, you know what? I've always defended that man, so I won't say hand up. That's not on me. That's on you guys. Anybody listening to this that ever spoke ill on young Wei Koo, I hope you're eating your frickin' heart out right now. Tony Romo. Oh, sorry, not Tony. Parker Romo going.
Also very ineffective in clutch moments, Tony Romo.
Yep. 0 for 2, 1 for a 49-yarder and 1 for a 55-yarder. Are those the most easy makeable kicks ever? No. But is that something you're now expected in the NFL these days to make? Absolutely. So the Falcons organization just is in a panic right now because we think we made this amazing decision. Look at us. We're so smart. We know what we're doing with our kicking game. And just like that, within a week, within 7 days, the Falcons no longer have a reliable kicker again. So what are we going to do with that? Our special teams is slowly falling apart. I mean, we also muffed. We had trouble catching the ball on punts and kick returns. It's so unbelievably ridiculous right now that we can't rely on our special teams.
Yeah, and Carolina did this little pooch kick thing that was perfect. It was very intelligent to just make the ball bounce when you're trying to catch it. Just call for it. Let's just take a fair catch. Let's take the ball. Let's not keep taking the ball at the 10-yard line with Michael Penix already seeming flustered and giving him the worst field position ever. Let's go take this good yardage and start out somewhat positive. Nope, we're just going to keep trying it out every single time. It was miserable.
We have a top punter in the league for whatever that's worth with Pinion.
Probably because he's busy kicking so much.
Yeah, he gets a lot of reps in during the game. He had a 23-yard punt on Sunday, and I don't know. I don't know. You see your team do a 23-yard punt. It's like we're watching Maction on a Tuesday.
Yeah, and What also bothers me, again, is we have all these errors on offense. We go into the half playing like absolute dog water. I mean, Bijan can't even get anything going. They're stuffing the run. And look, I told you before the game, Derek Brown is a beast, and he played like a beast. He was throwing offensive linemen around like, prime time Aaron Donald. It was pretty disgusting. He's a really good player, though. And that was the concern, is like, okay, well, then we have to run the ball off the tackles. We can't just run it up the gut out of this pistol formation that I'm going to scream if we keep running out of. It's the most predictable formation for what you're going to do. It leaves little to no creativity for a team to defend. And we kept doing it. It didn't work. When you go into halftime, coaches have to be able to make adjustments to be successful, right? I mean, this is their job, especially if Zach Robinson's sitting his ass in a air-conditioned booth watching this whole game. We should have gone to halftime and been like, hey, I got it. We're going to scheme this up to make this better. Let's run some play actions that aren't to Michael Penix. He doesn't know. First off, Zach Robinson does not know Michael Penix is left-handed. We have run almost every play action to the right side. And that's why I'm like, maybe he just can't see that Michael Penix is left-handed from up in the booth, because he keeps rolling him out to the right, which is so stupid.
Yeah. Do you even think he comes down to the locker room for halftime?
No, I think Zach Robinson's a lot like Parker Romo in that interview at the end of the game where he's like, hey, do you know these guys around you after the first game? And he was like,
oh, yeah,
I know Bijan. Like, I don't think he knows half the players' names based on how he schemes them. He's like, what's that guy's name? Like, David Money? I think he's fast, right? Like, that's honestly what it looks like at this point.
We don't know our own team.
No, and we clearly don't know the strengths of our team. We're not using it effectively. I would kill for a first down play action pass where Michael Penix is rolling out to his left, not to the near boundary. That would get me excited, and give him two routes where one's a breaking back route, one's a go route, and one is a little leak out route from Bijan. Or just nickel and dime these teams. Just, if they're going to give you 5-yard short hitch routes for Kyle Pitts, then just go get 5 yards every play. It's sitting there in the middle of the field. We're allergic to middle of the field routes.
5 yards every play will get you a first down.
Good Lord, it will. I mean, look at what the Panthers did. They scored 30 points. They averaged 4.1 yards a play. With Chuma Hubbard and 6 injured offensive linemen. 3 of them played, 3 still inactive. They just pounded us.
You know what also just makes me an idiot? When we're down 17-0, me thinking, dang, you know what? We could come back from this. And then we threw that.
It doesn't make you dumb.
No.
It makes you a fan. Makes you a fan.
Yeah, I guess. But watching that wide receiver screen for a pick six made me, that's Madden 101. You've seen that every time. And you know what? I shouldn't even give compliments to the Panthers defense due to the fact that, yeah, you know what? Maybe I would be able to stop an NFL offensive team if they ran the same 3 freaking plays every time they got the ball, because, hey, they're going to be able to stop the same thing. It's almost like they had our playbook the whole time.
Well, I mean, it's easy to have our playbook. We run like 4 plays, and they're all out-breaking routes and Bijan up the middle. That's pretty much it. We wasted those. Like I said, we wasted those plays that got Pitts open because they were on heavy blitz downs where we did not pick up blitzers, and Michael Penix had to just turn and launch a ball to the sideline ineffectively.
Give me some good news. Give me some sunshine in this very dark cave that is our team right now. What's the good stuff on defense you were talking about?
Yeah, so okay, take this with a grain of salt, right? The defense did not have their best game. They still put our team in a position to win. They allowed only 224 total yards of offense for the Carolina Panthers total. 4.1 yards a play, which is, look, it is a lot. At 4.1 yards a play, you're getting a first down in 3 plays most of the time, right? But a part of that is also because Carolina had a short field all the time. The Falcons were starting every single drive, it felt like, on the 10-yard line, right? We were starting inside of our own 20, whereas the Panthers seemed like they were set up on the 45 or our side of the field almost every drive. So that's a little deceptive. 224 yards is not a lot. It's enough to put up 30 points. when it comes to third and fourth down defense, Carolina only converted 5 of 16 third downs, right? Or third and fourth downs. They were 3 for 11 on third downs in this game. Defense did their job again, but it doesn't matter if you're set up in field goal position on each drive. Then what are you going to do? Also, McMillan, who is a rookie and is their best wide receiver, embarrassing to say, their best wide receiver is a rookie, and he was just absolutely torching our defense.
He was open every single time. I mean, we had Bryce Young in a blender back there, or at least it looked like, and then he would hit you with a spin move, and there would be McMillan just wide open for 8 yards every single time, and he would just be doing these little routes, these little comeback routes and hook routes and stuff, and he would be open.
Yeah.
And we didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Again, it's young guys in the secondary and young guys on the defense themselves, right? Like they're trying to work together. Like it's going to continuously get better. I truly believe that. But it seems like if we're going to blitz on 63% of our plays, that should lead to more pass breakups or interceptions or opportunities for that. It didn't seem like that was happening a ton. A lot of good plays by McMillan. Like, I know that guy just kind of shafted him by saying, hey, he's a rookie. Like, what are we doing? The guy was jumping out of the gym to make some of those plays. So impressive job by him. He really performed. I was excited to watch him perform. But let's get you to some of the defensive metrics for the Falcons after this game that should tell us defensively, and what Ulbrich is doing has us in a decent spot. Okay. Despite the loss, Atlanta's defense still ranks 13th in scoring defense, 2nd in yards allowed, 5th in EPA per play and EPA per pass, and 8th in pressure rate in the league. Those are winning numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. They're winning numbers, but they say defense does win championships, and hopefully we can shake off the dust that is this offense to maybe score some points. But man, the amount of times I was sitting there just like, if we're going to score, we're going to have to score on defense. And it's hard for our defense to go out there, first of all, every time, because they're just so tired. I mean, they were out there just the entire game. I mean, all the 3 and outs, the mistakes we were making and everything that was going on, like, you can't even blame them. People were saying, oh, they look sloppy. They look like tired. Yeah, they're tired, man. I'd be tired too if I'm sitting here at my job, doing the work, and it's like you're sitting there in a class project, right? And you're doing everything you need to do, but that one person's not making the PowerPoint. One person's not understanding the information that you guys are doing, and you guys get a crappy grade because your partner's not doing its job.
Yeah, no, he's not showing up. Your partner's not showing up. He's not doing his job. And seemingly when they're out there, it doesn't matter. And what stinks to see, too, is like the Falcons still held possession for 28 minutes. The Panthers had it for 32. So a 4-minute difference. What's the difference in those drives? Atlanta putzed around in the middle of the field, keeping the ball. We gave the ball back to the Panthers, a good field position. Even when they were stalling, they were still scoring. And I have to say this is another coaching situation for me where I'm very angry at Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson for this. When you're going in the fourth quarter, your young quarterback's dejected. He's frustrated. You bench him and put in Kirk Cousins. Here's what I think about this. And I'll tell you what I would do. I'm no coach. I'm not in that situation. It's easy for me to say this, but this is what I'd say. If I were Zach Robinson, I guess he has to call collect from the booth up there to tell him this. But, if I'm Raheem, what I go is I say, hey, Mike, this game's been frustrating. We've definitely failed scheming this. This quarter, I want you to go out there with confidence and use this as almost like live practice, right? Like we're going to lose this game. We're getting our ass beat. It's 27-0 right now. Go out there and be confident. Get the ball out quick when you see something. Trust yourself. You got this. Like, you're our guy. It's okay. Because he was hanging his head on the sideline. Bijan consoling him, which he should. I mean, Bijan's the leader of the offense right now as Michael's developing. You got to go tell this guy, hey, we got confidence in you. This is a terrible game. It's on us. Go out there and be the guy. You're good. Don't take hits. Get the ball out quick. We'll get through this. Instead, you put in Kirk Chains, who is just dying to take over this team. I mean, he wants to be a quarterback. And if you're going to put it in Kirk, you better scheme some shit up to look really good because let me tell you something. If we could get this guy's money off our payroll, then go put in Kirk and let him look really good so we can get rid of him. But instead, Kirk comes out, does the same exact stuff on the same exact crappy route trees. And it's a Falcons' misery. Like everything that could have gone wrong from a play calling, coaching, execution standpoint on every phase of the ball did. And, I mean, Raheem called that out. I get you have to do that as a head coach, take accountability in the presser afterwards, which he said the Carolina Panthers beat us at every phase of the ball. But, dude, that's your fault. That is your fault. That is you and Zach Robinson's fault.
100%. And like you said, it's putting Kirk Cousins out there. There's two theories I have with that. So Kirk Cousins was either put out there because they want to rest Penix and they want to maybe see if he got any juice left in the tank. Or maybe they went out there and let him try to sling the ball a little bit to open up opportunities of another team maybe was looking at him with all these injured quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, I've been wanting to get rid of Kirk Cousins because, you know, the money issue and things like that. But I'm a Penix believer, man, and I will keep saying that. But at the end of the day,
we absolutely are.
At the end of the day, it's like, dude, we need somebody out there. I don't care who's throwing the ball out there as long as plays are being made and as long as we are getting those first downs. But let me just dive into the team stats, because if you watch this game on paper and you look at the score, it doesn't make any sense. There's no correlation. We beat them in first downs. We beat them in total yardage. We beat them in completions. We beat them in rushing. We even had less penalties than they did by half. How does this make any sense? How is this acceptable? We had more drives than they did too, and we didn't get anything out of it. Is that not insane? That's statistically impossible.
It's a doom and gloom. To not score points, having 300 yards of total offense, to move away from the run almost entirely is, again, coming out of the halftime, you have to have coaches that can adjust to what they're seeing on the field. If they really looked at what we were doing running the ball and said, you know what, it's not working running Bijan and Algier straight into Derek Brown's lap, so we just can't run. We're just not going to run anymore. We're going to throw, because throwing's been working really well. Our wide receivers and Penix are clicking right now. If they saw that and said that, man, we need to burn the building down.
Dude, Tyler Algier looked like their kryptonite out there. I mean, he was bully balling his way into 5 yards almost every time. And I mean, we did the opposite of what we did against Minnesota, where it's like, oh, hey, maybe a game plan is working. Let's just keep doing that and something good is going to happen. But that's just the opposite of what we saw here. We saw bad things happen when we started doing certain things in the game script, and we stayed on the same exact script, and things just progressively got worse every single time.
Yeah, it seems to me we just look past this. I know we as fans are guilty. We talked about it like, Panthers, quick win. Then we look on to the Commanders. It's not our job to be in the facilities. It's the coach's job to make sure players are ready, that what they have schemed is prepared. But this is a huge moral defeat for Atlanta in general, not just the Falcons. Like this one happening in the same week that the Braves are officially excluded from the playoffs.
Shocker.
Which we'll get into that just a little bit more. In fact, let's go ahead and segue over to it, because I can't talk about this much more. I mean, like this past week, final say, Kramer, get into it. I mean, just last thoughts on the game.
I'm done with this game. I'm sad. My voice is shot. The only thing I have to say is I hope we can at least cover the spread of whatever points we're not favored by against the Commanders this week. So
yeah, that's when we look ahead. Doesn't look better. We got the Commanders, the Bills, and the 49ers. It's our hardest stretch of the year.
Our schedule's about to get so much.
Two of those are home games. So, like, you know, you look on Falcons Twitter, you hear these people talk. It doesn't look like there's going to be a fan in the stadium. Everyone's saying, I'm done. And you know what? If you're going to be done with the Falcons, go be done. We don't want you cheering for them, truthfully.
True.
This is exactly the type of growing pains and issues we need fans to stay loyal to. It's hard. I get that. What you're seeing on the field sucks.
If it was easy, everyone would do it. Everybody would be a Chiefs fan. Everyone would be an Eagles fan. You know, it's
not the time to be a fair weather fan. We're in the NFC South, which is dog water right now besides the Bucs, and I don't even think they're that good. They found ways to win, which in the NFL, that's what you got to do. So don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to knock Baker. I think he's a good quarterback. I think they got tons of talent. I love Mike Evans. I talked about that in the first time when we played the first pod. They got a great team with players. They shouldn't be winning this division by 6 games, which is seemingly what it's going to look like.
The last thing I have to say is unrelated to the current Falcon situation, but the Falcons nonetheless. Congratulations, Mohamed Sanu. Hell of a career. Thank you so much for everything you've done for the city.
Yeah.
Bean Talk, he was that boy, best quarterback in Atlanta Falcons history, technically.
Yeah, statistically, high completion rate, high throw to touchdown rate. Yeah, man, congratulations to Sanu. He was a lot of fun to watch when he was on this team, man, with him and Julio. That was just
good energy, good vibes, and that run that they had to the Super Bowl, I'll never forget, where him, Taylor Gabriel, and Julio just doing their job. They looked like they were just having so much.
Yeah, it must be fun to play for an offense that's coached by Mike Shanahan. You know, I talk so much crap about him because of that Super Bowl, but I would literally kill to have him calling plays.
Bad head coach, good offense.
Maybe we can tell him that. Maybe he'll be like, man, I am a bad coach. I should go back to Atlanta and ball out with the boys. It won't work. But that's it. Doom and gloom's over.
No, it's not.
Now let's look to more doom and gloom. We go and play the Commanders. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was riding my high horse with thinking about 13 wins this season, and now it's just, I just want to sniff the red zone right now.
Yeah, I'd love to see a wide receiver score a touchdown in week 4. Wouldn't that be exciting? I got to tell you something. This is going to be the shortest week preview ever, because if you want to talk about a situation, if fans are bailing right now, just wait till Dan Quinn and Marcus Mariota come in, and if they beat the Falcons bad,
revenge game.
Wait, Marcus Mariota and Dan Quinn beat the Falcons. Man, Rich McKay's got to go as the CEO. Fire the head coach. Fire everybody. Because we ran Dan Quinn out, and we crapped on Marcus Mariota when he was here.
I hated the Marcus Mariota experiment. The only experiment I hated more than the Marcus Mariota experiment was the Desmond Ridder experiment, and we almost lost to him in the Raiders last year. So this is just something I'm not looking forward to. Am I going to be there watching the game? Yeah, of course. However, I'm going to be watching this with my eyes covered and my fingers just split open slightly the entire time. I mean, this is a nervous game. Their defense is looking really good. And of course, you know, Jaden Daniels is going to be out, and we're having to play a former quarterback that did awful. And if he comes in and beats us, that just is the most poetic Falcons thing you've ever heard. I mean, that's game script for us.
There's a very real situation where the Falcons 3 weeks from now are 1-5. And if the Falcons are 1-5, we will have to get a new head coach. We will have to get a new offensive coordinator. The season will be doomed, and we don't have a first-round pick next year. We traded a first-round pick. We could end up being a bottom 5 team if that goes that way.
I'm getting just sad thinking about this because of how excited I was this offseason. But you know what? Justice for Young Wei Koo. Let's get into something else.
That's about the only way we can talk about it now. That's about the only thing we can say. I'm still
let's get into something else, man.
Yeah, let's try to make it bright. I'll go ahead and talk Braves out of the playoff contention. That's talking Braves. That's it. That's all we got to talk about. It's not all we have to talk about. Nat Olson could very well have a 30 for 100 season. He's really turned it on. He's looked good. It's promising coming back. Ozzy Albies, who's going into an option year, started playing really well in the second half again. Michael Harris looking good at the plate after changing his swing. There's a lot of stuff to get excited for next year if AA can pull some strings, which he has done in the 2020-2021 season to make some moves. He's been very poor in his acquisition game this season. We'll see. Show me. I mean, that's like the classic statement right now in Atlanta is like every one of these teams, like you can say we're heading in the right direction. You can do, like, show me on the field that I have confidence. We'll see with the Braves. They are still technically the best team we have. I know they didn't have a good season this year, but they're the best team we got. Kramer, do we have anything good from the Atlanta United or Dream side?
You know we don't. I'll go Atlanta United. Let's just say this. The season's over. I think I said that last episode too. We're sitting 12th in the Eastern Conference and 25th overall in the MLS. Not much to look forward to there. Out of playoff contention. Can't really seem to do anything but tie games right now. We got a younger crew and a lot of injuries, so it's maybe something to look forward to towards the future. But that being said, the future also looks bright for the Atlanta Dream with Carl Smesko. He's looking great. He's one of the best coaches in the league right now, and it's only his first year. However, I will, with a heavy heart, I have to say the Atlanta Dream, since last episode, have been eliminated from the WNBA playoffs. That game
First round exit.
Yep, first round exit. They won game one, as reported, against the Indiana Fever, 80-68. However, after that, all their star players came back from injury, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and those of that matter. And game two, we got dominated 77-60 to tie the series. And then game three, we lost in the most Atlanta sports heartbreaking fashion. We lost to a buzzer beater by Aaliyah Boston with a buzzer beater to lose the game. Great season. Congrats to them. Most wins. Finishing second in the WNBA. You gotta, give claps for the girls there because they really played their heart out in every single game. But a lot to look forward to next season. Looks like they got some good leadership with some of these veteran players they got. Let's go into some Hawks basketball now.
I'll shoulder some of the responsibility for the Dream's first round exit too. I haven't paid attention to the WNBA at all, and Kramer got me really excited about checking it out, and I didn't watch the game, but I was kind of keeping up on Twitter to see what was going on, and that's my fault. I tuned in and we lost. I'll never tune in again so that we continue to win. That's what I'll do. That'll be my service to the...
Maybe we need to stop talking about... Maybe we need to just shut the podcast down because we might just be bad luck.
Yeah, week 5 is just going to be the cricket sounds or like, I don't know, something Atlanta, like just the sights and sounds of the varsity. I don't know. We'll figure something out to at least give us some better hope. But yeah, things on the Atlanta Hawks side don't look much better. The news of the week is that Trae Young and, check my notes, Patrick Beverley are beefing. Yeah, that Patrick Beverley. The classic, like the funny stand up now, like that whole little like meme gif of him crying for the win, the playoff play-in game, like he just saved a city because he scored, his first 15-point game.
Ripping his jersey off, thinking he's Kevin Garnett, like anything is possible. Like
that Patrick Beverley basically came on and said, he tweeted, he said, what was it? I don't even have the actual tweet pulled up right now. He basically said, the All-Star game is a bunch of All-Stars who don't even want to play the game. They're not passionate about it. Trae Young hilariously tweeted back and said, let us speak for ourselves, just absolutely slamming Patrick Beverley, who is not an All-Star ever. To which Patrick Beverley took to heart because he's pretty irrelevant. So he came on and ripped up Trae, saying, you haven't done anything. You've been to one Eastern Conference Finals. Patrick Beverley threw out his stats about having been to 3 or, being carried to 3 or something like that. Me and Kramer have different takes on this. Kramer, what's your take on the beef and Trae's 12-minute response video?
I love to look at two sides of an argument, and when two people beef, what Pat Bev said wasn't completely wrong. I didn't appreciate the attitude he said it in. It was more
very rude.
Yeah, very rude. Hey, man, why are you... Dude, you've been out of the league. He was playing in Israel last year. Relax, man. He said a bunch of things about how Trae Young is focused on getting paid and, having that all-star status, which, to my opinion, isn't completely wrong. Pat Bev really was just kind of getting into Trae Young like, hey, man, you need to be a better leader. You need to help these young guys. Like, you got to be the clutch person Atlanta is paying you to be, and you got to be able to take your team. You've been to the playoffs twice in 7 years being with the team, and you want to talk like your head honcho, or you are up there with people like Kat and people like Giannis and Kawhi. And to Pat Bev's point, like, Trae Young hasn't been the person we are paying him to be.
Yeah, so this is where we disagree, and we're totally allowed to. Trae Young's plus minus is good. He is exceptionally talented at scoring and assisting. The Hawks, I apologize, haven't really put much around him. A lot of young talent that comes in from drafts and then either leaves, gets injured. There's a lot to point out why the Hawks haven't been successful in playoff runs or getting high in the Eastern Conference that don't point to Trae. You can look, he is the leader of the team. Like, you're very right about that. Like, it is time for him to really own that and really own that role. I think it's going to happen. I think in this whole beef, though, what really makes me mad about Patrick Beverley, and he's climbing for clicks, is he said, "Oh, I have sources that say it's the Trae Hawks. Players don't like playing with him." And Trae, I think that's what really set Trae off, is because it's like, hey, listen, I'm who they're building this offense around, right? I'm going to take the most shots. I am the guy. I got the numbers to prove that it's successful, but also tell me who that source is. Like, Trae's like, please tell me who's telling you I'm not a good teammate, because it seems to me that the locker room does not think that about Trae Young. Those guys seem to want to play with Trae Young. The team that we have right now is excited about the chemistry as well as the leadership Trae is putting forward, at least through what we've seen so far and them just getting prepared for this season. That's the part that seemed to make Trae the most hot about this. And I don't blame him too. But what I'd like to see from Trae Young is another tweet. I don't want to see a 12-minute video of you sacrificing time to talk smack to Patty, right? This is not, if this was Chauncey Billups talking smack, it's like, hey, you kind of respect it. It's a guy who's deserved it in the league. Like, don't waste your time and energy with Pat Bev. Like, this should not be talked about a week from now at all. If it continues, it's a huge distraction, and then I will question what Trae's mindset is. Until then, he did it his way. He's always going to do it Trae's way, which the guy does have some moxie and swagger to him. Like, he was very calm in that video. I'm cool with it if it dies now.
Also, yeah, shout out to Trae Young's video editor, because there was points in that video where from producer perspective, where I'm like, yeah, they cut some stuff where he was about to sound like an idiot, which is what I do every week, is I cut certain things to make us sound a little bit better.
I mean, so we can only do so much with us too.
That's so true. Yeah. Trae Young, what are we doing? We're beefing with a Barstool employee. We're beefing with a Barstool employee.
Yeah. And not even one that's worthy of beefing with. Like, Barstool's got some employees that got some serious talent, played some great time in their respective leagues. Like, Pat Bev's not it, man. He's a culture vulture. He wants clicks, and he wants to be in the limelight that he never had in the league. And I don't want to hear that man's name come out of Trae Young's mouth again, because Trae Young is so much better, man. This is like lion and sheep conversation.
Absolutely.
Shouldn't be talked about.
Well, man, it's been another, I would love to say, great episode. However, I just don't have the heart right now. I'm just sad. Any takeaways or any added information you want to talk about when it comes to the Falcons this week?
The main thing I'm going to watch for this upcoming week is progress. And progress in 3 categories, which is, let's start with an obvious one. Special teams has got to be better. Put yourself in good winning positions. Let's fair catch a football. Let's not muff kicks. Let's line up correctly. Some pretty basic stuff, man, like the stuff they teach you in 5th grade football. And then the next one I want to see is Michael Penix have time in the pocket to go through a progression and not stare down a single receiver. But this is just stuff that progresses as a young quarterback. I'm going to watch that. The main thing I'm going to watch is, does this coaching staff get the team ready? And are we going to start scheming correctly? Or are we going to start nickel and diming them until they bring up those safeties, get in more tight man coverage and press where we can take the top off? Or are we just going to let Bijan get killed running up the middle and never doing anything too creative again? Zach Robinson had some plays there. I hate the guy. I don't hate him, but I don't like him. Don't want him as our OC, but he did have some plays called up that Michael Penix missed. So what do we have to do to get those plays to hit? That's the stuff I'm watching. Special teams, coaching, alignment.
I'm going to have to pull this card, but this is a must-win. I think if we lose this game and we go 1-3, it is time to maybe just already look towards next season. I hate to be pessimistic like this, and I hate that I'm even this sad right now because I got my hopes up again. But, I mean, we need a win. We need a dub. This is a huge possible momentum game if we can beat the Commanders and, you know, fire back against Dan Quinn and Marcus Mariota in this revenge game. I am not holding my breath. I need the Falcons to prove something to me. I need them to gain my trust again.
The good news, Kramer, is if we lose this game, we can still win 13 like you predicted.
Yep.
So it's all still possible. Be a lot more possible if we beat the Commanders. I'm with you, dude. Show me. That's the mindset. I know this has been a really downer episode. There's not much you can do to spin it positively based on what we saw on the field. I know everybody else listening and watching these Falcons knows that. But I'd like to see some scoring of any kind. If we make field goals, awesome. I'd love to be in the red zone. Like, these are pitiful things to hope for when your team's going to go play a game. But the truth is, like, I'd love to see something in the area of growth. And if not, we'll be back here. We'll be here every week. I'm your most tormented souls in Atlanta, discussing the Atlanta Falcons and all things Atlanta. Kramer, why don't you send us out, man? I'm going to go cry.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And whether you flew here or whether you grew here, we really appreciate you listening to another episode of the Atlanta Sports Special.
Rise up.
I'm Kramer, and that's Kenny, and rise up, baby.
United we stand, reaching for the sky. 5 stripes marching, unity in play. MLS Cup champs, they paved the way. You know Mercedes-Benz echoes with every cheer. Atlanta United gold, the pride we hold dear. Falcons flying high, dirty buds in the air. Mercedes-Benz roars, opponents forget. 33 Turner, Mike Vick wrote the script with his cornrows, gold chains and quarterback dripping. Through all the grinding, through all the pain.